Good afternoon. I'm NBC10's Tracy Davidson. Our weather team has issued a first alert tracking severe weather that you can see on our monitor here. Meteorologist Robert Johnson has what you need to know right now. He's in the First Alert Weather Center tracking all of this, and I can see it on your radar.
Yeah, these storms are severe, Tracy, rolling through very quickly and certainly packing a punch. Our first alert remains in effect until 4 o'clock this afternoon, and you can see ferocious lines of storms pressing through the Lehigh Valley, the Delaware Valley, pushing through South Jersey. This is the newest piece of information. A severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 12:45 for Salem County, Gloucester County, Cumberland County, as these gusty downpours quickly push to the east. Not only are we seeing some strong wind gusts and heavy rain, but also notice our hail tracker, small hail that has been pushing through Newcastle County in Delaware, through the Delaware Bay into Salem County as this system very quickly pushes to the east. We've also noticed hail from Chester County through Delco, sliding through Coatesville, Westchester, just to the south of Broomall over the past hour. In addition, a gusty line of storms rolling through Lower Bucks, Monco, through the I-95 corridor. A couple of severe thunderstorm warnings that are in place until 12:15 for Lower Bucks through Philadelphia, off into Camden County and western portions of Gloucester County. In addition, a flash flood warning in effect through the I-95 corridor from Trenton through Philadelphia down into Wilmington until 3:30. Remember, do not drive through any flooded roadways. Turn around, don't drown. And another flash flood warning in effect for Chester County and portions of Delco until 3:45. Same issue there. A lot of heavy rain pouring down in a short period of time. And just the radar itself, strong storms through Allentown, Percy, Doylestown, Bluebell, Norristown, all of it pushing east, sliding through West Philly, South Philly, and as it continues to exit Chester County, it's all over Delco, and some stronger cells have been pushing through Wilmington, Middletown, Delaware. Now it's in Salem County, so a couple more severe thunderstorm warnings I'm sure will be posted very soon. We'll track it hour by hour. Here's 1 o'clock. Most of the storm action from this main batch is out of here, but we'll still have to watch for a couple of isolated showers and storms even as we go through the afternoon and even once we get to the evening. Tracy, back over to you.
All right, Robert, and that severe weather is impacting events that are planned for today. The Stotesbury Cup Regatta on the Schuylkill. This is file video. They suspended all launching at about 10:30 this morning. Athletes and fans were told to take cover. Organizers tell us racing will resume once the storm passes. We'll keep you updated on when that's going to happen. At Villanova, Mass went on as scheduled for graduates today, but the commencement itself is delayed. The school told NBC10 we're delaying entry to Villanova Stadium until 1:30 this afternoon for everyone's safety. We ask that faculty plan to arrive by 2:15 to ensure that everyone has time to be seated before we begin. We will have a slightly delayed start to the ceremony, wanting to keep everyone safe there. And we have our storm force truck out and about, seeing what the conditions are like. This is in the Pennsylvania suburbs. We are headed to Berks County, where we've been told there is some damage from the severe storms, but you can see the rain is coming down and you can see ponding too. And that's what we've been talking about. Turn around, don't drown. That's a serious warning. When you come up to water, you really don't know how deep it is. So be very careful if you find that on the roads. Make sure you download our free NBC10 app. That will give you real-time updates for this severe weather that is moving through our area. And it can be very specific to where you are right now. Let's bring you back to our regularly scheduled programming right now. But you can stay with NBC10 wherever you stream us as we continue to track this weather.
NBC10 News starts now.
Right now on NBC10 News, we are tracking severe storms moving across our area. Our weather team has issued a first alert for the heavy rain and potential for damaging wind and hail. There's also a flash flood warning in effect this afternoon. And you just got new information, Robert.
Yeah, Tracy, we do have a tornado warning that's in effect for part of New Jersey. So let's zoom in on that storm and track all of it. That tornado warning is in effect for Salem County. What I was going to show you before we got on the air just a moment ago was a severe thunderstorm warning. Now we'll track that tornado warning. So that tornado warning, as we're getting the information just coming in now from the National Weather Service, and we'll get all this information information up for you in just a minute here. You see that tornado warning that's in effect for Salem County. That's the red box. And as we get our situation together here, one thing that we want to let you know about is that if you are in that red box, that red zone, you want to get to your safe place. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. So a lot of busy stuff here on this map, but let's clear this out, zoom in a little bit closer for you. That way you get all the fine details here. And we're getting this information just in from the National Weather Service. A tornado warning that is in effect until 12:45. This tornado warning is in effect until 12:45, and it's for part of Salem County and part of Cumberland County. As this storm has been ramping up, it was sliding through Newcastle County in Delaware, crossing the Delaware Bay, pushed into Salem County, and also now pushing into Cumberland County. Again, the warning is in effect until 12:45, and here we are at 12:24. This storm has been ramping up, not only with heavy rain and gusty winds. You see the loads of lightning, and we're also noticing some rotation in the atmosphere too. So we'll slide in on this warning. This storm is very quickly moving to the southeast at about 30 miles per hour. So it's not going to last very long, but still you want to get to your safe place very quickly. A lot of warnings here on this map, but we'll zoom in a little bit tighter to try to show you where the area of rotation is associated with this warning. So we'll slide in even closer, and we'll use some of our radar tools here as well, just to show you where we think the best area of rotation may be. And you're seeing some of this information here just as I'm seeing it too. So as we try to track these wind shear tracks, these are the areas where the storm has been tightening up. And you see the areas of green here. Those areas of green show that where we've seen some rotation in the upper levels of the atmosphere, and it is getting a little bit stronger. This storm has not been weakening, unfortunately. So we'll take some of these images off our map here just to give you a little bit of a better perspective and show you some other portions of our radar where we can track this system a little bit better. But this system has been sliding out of Salem County, pushing through Cumberland County, and that's the area of concern we're watching right now, just south of Upper Deerfield. Let's put the velocity scan on there so that way we are better able to detect where this area of rotation is. But still, if you're in portions of Salem County, especially southeastern Salem County, and pushing through Cumberland County, you want to be in your safe place. It's this region right here that we're watching very closely. So Davis Mill, Garrison Corner, Shiloh, if you're hearing me right now, you want to get to your safe place as this storm is very quickly pushing out of Salem County and sliding through portions of Cumberland County. I'm also tracking this with meteorologist Bill Henley. He's in our First Alert Weather Center as well, and we've been tracking these storms together, seeing them ramp up, and this one in particular has been a cause for concern. So as you've been watching our coverage, you might have heard us talk about areas of red and green close together. Well, this is the area where the best area of rotation would be near 49, near Shiloh, near Stowe Creek, Davis Mill. This is the area where a potential tornado could be. As we're tracking this tornado warning, we are also tracking information from the National Weather Service. We have a chat with them. We're in constant contact with them and trying to see what they're noticing too. But this system very quickly moving to the southeast at about 30 miles per hour. So let's go back to this radar view. We'll zoom it out a bit. Bear with me here as we back up this radar, and we're going to track the area of rotation as it very quickly moves to the southeast. So we'll put a track on this. That way we can tell you where it is going next. So here's the approximate timeline here. And if you were in Bowentown, about 12:27, that's approximately the timeline for when the area of rotation would be near you. In addition, if you are near Center Grove, approximately 12:42, that's when, if there is a tornado, it would be near you. So when we have a watch that's issued, that means we're watching the situation. You heard earlier on NBC10 News at 11 a.m. that we have a severe thunderstorm watch. When a warning is issued, that means you want to take shelter. So if you're in this area near Stowe Creek, near near Shiloh, sliding toward Bridgeton, you definitely want to take shelter as the system is pushing out of Salem County and continuing to press through Cumberland County. This is not the only storm we're watching, but it is one of the storms that we're watching. But we're tracking this one through continuous coverage until the warning is over, because a tornado warning has been issued for Salem County and for Cumberland County. Let's take you back to the regular radar view and show you the latest scan that's popping up. And notice you see loads of lightning here. When you have all this lightning popping up in a storm, that shows you that the storm is ramping up. It is intensifying. It's not losing any steam just yet. But this little notch area where we see this indent in the storm, that is where the most likely area of rotation is, where there could be a tornado warning. So as mentioned, you want to get to your safe place, and I'll show you the warning box and click some of these other items off of here, because obviously there's a lot on here and we want to make sure that you get the best information for you. So we'll take off the lightning. I'll take off some of those severe thunderstorm warning boxes, though those severe thunderstorm warning boxes are important. And I'll talk to Bill in just a minute here, but I want to show you where that tornado warning box is. And there it is, through Salem County, but especially through Cumberland County. That's the area to watch. Again, the warning is in effect until 12:45, and here we are as we approach 12:30. Bill, you're watching this as well. What are you noticing on your end?
How quickly things are changing. We've watched this storm system race into the area. You've been talking about that heavy rain and the frequent lightning, but the standout is what's happening now in South Jersey. Rob, as you've mentioned, it is the tornado warning, which is in effect, quickly moving to the southeast. Now, the Weather Service, I just checked the latest radar. It looked like it's moving to the southeast, that storm cell that's producing the tornado at about 25 miles an hour. So that's a little bit slower than some of these other cells, if that information is correct, but it seems to be making some quick progress. Not only do we have the threat of a tornado in and around western Cumberland County, but also the downpour. So you're not going to see this tornado if you're looking out the window. Most likely it is wrapped in rainfall. So don't even try if you're in this area. And Rob mentioned it's this spot right in here, just to the southeast of Store Creek, that we look to see a little bit of rotation. And that's what we're seeing in the radar echoes right now. That is on the move, but that is a dangerous storm. As Rob mentioned, it's time to get in that safe place. You want to be at the lowest level of the building you're in. If you're in the house, you have a basement, that's the place to go. If not, the first floor and an interior room. A closet is great. Usually there's stuff in there that'll protect you. A bathroom will do well as well, but the most important part is to be in an interior room away from the windows. Very heavy rainfall with that storm system, but the threat of damaging wind coming with that tornado. That's the only tornado warning we have in effect, but severe thunderstorm warnings for much of the rest of the area. It's quickly clearing out. These storm warnings popped up in Reading, in Allentown, first in the Lehigh Valley, then into the western suburbs, but you can see in just the last hour how quickly they have moved into South Jersey. So again, this warning is in effect until, well, let's take a look at exactly what the National Weather Service is telling us about this storm system. And they are showing that tornado warning until 12:45. Cumberland and Salem. And what we're also seeing is some significant hail with this storm as well. So you may be not only hearing the thunder and lightning, but seeing it coming down. This is the velocity. This is what we can keep an eye on to help us pinpoint exactly where that tornado is. And it's where these colors mix. And that is what we're seeing quickly move towards Bridgeton right now. So if you're in this warning area and you see things out the window moving sideways, that is time to take cover, and this is the time to do it too. This storm system, the entire storm system, is a fast mover, and by early this afternoon, most of it is going to be offshore, but it does come with some hail, and we have been seeing that this morning. If I zoom in, this storm system not only potentially producing a tornado, but look at those storm tracks. That is some significant hail. That's the largest hail I've seen so far this morning, Rob. Most of the hail that we've seen is less than an inch, and the radar is showing 3/4 of an inch hail size with that tornado pushing through into Salem and Cumberland County. And now it does look like it is out of the picture for Salem County, but Cumberland Cumberland County. Wouldn't you agree, Rob? Cumberland County looks like that it is taking the worst of this storm right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing with a situation like this is that the storms are rolling through very quickly. They don't last very long, but when they do come, they hurt when they hit. And we've been seeing the storm very quickly track to the east and southeast, at first in Newcastle County, Delaware, then crossing the Delaware Bay, pushing over Salem County. I'm sure we'll get an update from the National Weather Service very soon, modifying this warning since the storm itself is out of Salem County. So if you're in Salem County, you no longer are under a threat of a tornado. There are still more storms coming your way in Salem County, but even though the warning hasn't been adjusted for Salem County just yet, the storm itself near Bridgeton, near Stowe Creek, near Shiloh, the area of rotation that we're watching is now completely in Cumberland County and still tracking to the east and southeast very quickly at approximately 30 miles per hour. So we'll go back and track even more of these storms. And one thing that we try to view on radar is any areas of potential debris. Sometimes with debris, we'll notice on this fancy tool called the correlation coefficient, we might be able to see a blue ball. And I'll stop the radar here just so we can see a little bit of a better view and try to pull it back over the last 30 minutes as we track these storms in real time. Not noticing a tight area of blue, which would indicate that we would have some debris flying in the air. Sometimes that can be a really good indication if there is a tornado already. Either way, you want to be in your safe place, but thankfully not seeing a very bright area of blue there. Still, we are watching this very strong thunderstorm that is capable of producing a tornado pushing through Cumberland County, and it remains in effect until 12:45. And we see that little notch that's in there near Bridgeton. That's the area of greatest concern where there could be a tornado rolling through Cumberland County. So you don't want to take any chances. And please safely yet quickly get to your safe place if you can. Say if you like to ride bikes and you have a bike helmet, it's good to put that on your head just to protect you in case there's any flying debris. Try to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Stay away from all windows and all doors. And we're just now getting another update coming in this moment from the National Weather Service, an update on the tornado warning. So stay with me here as we get a greater update on this. They have, as mentioned, as we talked about a couple minutes ago, modified this warning because the actual storm itself, it's no longer in Salem County. Yes, you'll still get more storms in Salem County, but the tornado warning, the tornado warned storm is out of Salem County. It still continues to push through Cumberland County. And as we check our chat with the National Weather Service, they're going to continue this tornado warning for Cumberland County until 12:45. So that's just a modification of the warning that we've been talking about there, something to keep a very close eye on. As mentioned, something we like to do is check out different scans on our radar. And we like to see where the winds are going. So let's zoom in on this even more to show you where the tightest area of rotation is. And it is still near Bridgeton. And we'll go back to another view of the radar here in a minute. So we'll give you the wide view of our radar. We'll zoom in. You can see the storm stretching from Allentown, pushing into Trenton, through Trenton and New York, with the tornado warned storm that continues to evolve in Cumberland County in South Jersey. We still get that little bit of a notch on the radar there as well. And this is very quickly moving to the southeast. So as mentioned, it does not last very long, but it is still quite impactful. So we'll give you another view of where the winds are going as the storm continues to change. And these storms can change speed. They can change direction. So we want to continue tracking it for you. It's near Bridgeton. That's where we're still noticing the tightest area of circulation, and that's what we want to watch for. So if there is a tornado, this is the area that the tornado would be in, just to the southeast of Shiloh, near Bridgeton, over 49. That's the primary area of concern. And if you're watching this and you may not be in Cumberland County, you might think, well, what about my neighborhood? That's not the only storm we're tracking, but it is the storm that we're keeping a very close eye on, since there is a severe thunderstorm, or rather a tornado warning there along with the severe thunderstorm warning. We also have flash flood warnings that are in effect through the I-95 corridor. We've seen video of flooding in portions of Bucks County. A flash flood warning remains in effect from Trenton through Philadelphia all the way into Wilmington until 3:30 this afternoon, and a couple other flash flood warnings in other portions of Bucks County. County, Montgomery County, through Delco, and even back off into Chester. So if you're encountering any flooded roadways, remember, turn around, don't drown. We'll take you back to the tornado warning that we continue to watch. It is still in effect until 12:45 for southeastern Cumberland County, just south of Vineland. So Vineland, you're not in the warning. Millville, you're right on the edge. And as this storm very quickly moves to the southeast, and I want to put another track on this so we can get a better idea of when the system could be in a few more neighborhoods. And Center Grove, watch for this at approximately 12:48. If it holds together, the warning's only in effect until 12:45, so the warning may be allowed to be let go before that time. But here are approximate timelines. Baileytown, 12:53. Again, the warning's only in effect until 12:45, but it's still something that we want to watch out for as these storms continue to evolve. And something I'm just noticing now on this radar image is we're getting even more of a notch. We talked about this earlier, Bill, where once you're seeing more of that notch, you're seeing more of the twisting and turning of the winds. That can be a good indication of a tornado. Not something we want to see. That's why we've been telling you, get to your safe place. If you're in Bridgeton, you don't want to waste any time because this is a very serious situation that we continue to monitor very closely, Bill.
I saw, and you said it, Rob, you're exactly right. That notch is the indication right in there. This is where we're watching for that potential tornado in the Bridgeton area. And you can see it's moving to the east-southeast. So, and it's the latest I saw is moving at about 20 knots, which is about 25 miles an hour. So this is not as fast as some of the storms we've seen earlier race through our area. So this is a storm system that is ongoing right now in the Bridgeton area. It's a storm that could produce damaging winds. It's a radar indicated tornado. So far, I have not seen confirmation from on the ground that a tornado is nearby, but we're getting that mixing of the colors, which indicates the rotation in that storm system, and also some impressive hail tracks. Look at the hail with this storm system. It actually started in eastern Delaware, rolled right across the Delaware into Salem County, and now it is ongoing in the Bridgeton area. And that's a good indicator of where that storm is. A severe thunderstorm cannot just produce heavy rainfall and lightning and flooding. It produces hail, and as we're seeing right now, what appears today be based on the radar imagery that we're seeing is a tornado in the Bridgeton area moving to the southeast. Is right in here. When you get that kind of bend in the echo, it's because the winds are spinning so quickly. It is wrapping that wind around the storm system. So if you're in the Bridgeton area, as Rob mentioned, right along 49, heading toward Fairton and Gouldtown, you need to be in a safe place or be on the lookout, be on the ready to make your way into the lowest level of a building and an interior room. And don't even think about leaving the house until all of this passes. This storm system is making some fast progress. We're already seeing it clear out of portions of the Pennsylvania suburbs. The rain's tapering off in Philadelphia, but look at that heavy rainfall, lots of lightning too, and you don't want to mess with a tornado, especially in Cumberland County right now. That's the worst of it. This was part of our first alert from the beginning. Rob, you mentioned that yesterday afternoon when you and Brian Mendoza issued that first alert because of this very storm threat. And look at that, right in the Bridgeton area. We're still seeing those echoes that are moving through. Now, this isn't, I'm going to stop this because sometimes it's difficult to see it as it's spinning. But right here, this is at 12:40 right now, but there, an updated image, perfect timing. You can see that wrapping around that notch in there. That's an indication of a tornado, and that is slowly moving through the area, but I don't see it really showing any signs of lighting up. But take another look at the velocity so we pinpoint that. It is the heaviest rainfall right in Slade Lane and heading towards the country club there in Cumberland County. It is a storm system that is it's taking its time moving through Cumberland County. Let's see if it seems like I have there we go. That's the velocity right there. I think I'm going to have to back it out a little bit. Let's see if I can get it to back out back to the home view. Actually, I think I've given it too many inputs, Rob.
No worries.
But the storm is, you've got it pinpointed very nicely on your velocity. Where's it looking like it is right now?
Yeah, and we still keep getting more and more updates from the radar. And the bullseye, what we're watching right now, is in between Bridgeton and Fairton, where you see the reds and the greens together. So that's where you see the twisting and turning of the wind. And even as I say that, I don't know if you just saw that latest radar scan, and if you didn't, I'll back it up because we just got a new one in just moments ago. You see how the red and the green not as close together, and now they're touching each other, basically. They're very close. So and that's not something we want to see. That shows the winds going in opposite directions, and when they're very close, that gives a strong indication of where a tornado could be. So I want to give you the street level view. We will zoom in even closer to show you, just to give some streets, give some familiar names. This is in Cumberland County, near 49, Fordville, Bridgeton, Fairton, Bowentown. We'll zoom in even more. And we'll clear off this radar scene here just to give you a clearer idea. So if you are hearing my voice and you're familiar with some of these schools here, we'll back it up and we'll go through.
The tornado warning, it looks like, now in through Salem County, Cumberland County, into parts of Cape May and Atlantic County that just came out.
Okay, well, we'll back this up. Thank you so much, Bill. Another update. Great to have Bill Henley here, both of us meteorologists tracking this scene. And even as we get more radar sweeps in, and sometimes with the National Weather Service, they'll give us even more radar sweeps when a situation like this happens, more than what we typically get. There it is, that brand new extended severe, or rather tornado warning that's in effect not only for Cumberland County, but as Bill mentioned, it's also in effect for portions of Cape May County, extending into a small sliver of Atlantic County right there as that system very quickly presses to the east. So let's slide in even closer. We'll pause this radar view and just give you a better indication of where exactly this is, where exactly it is going. This information just coming in from the National Weather Service. And this warning is in effect, it says here, until 1:30 this afternoon. So here we are at 12:44 in the afternoon, and this extended warning is in effect until 1:30 this afternoon for Cumberland County, into portions of Cape May County, also into portions of Atlantic County. We'll slide in even closer to show you the area of most likely rotation. And something we've been noticing on our radar, Bill and I have both been talking about it, is this notch, this indent in the radar where you see this drop off between the dark shades of red and purple and orange. And then you see this area of green. That's a notch in the radar. And that's where we could certainly have a tornado. Nothing confirmed at this point, but you still want to get to your safe place no matter what. Let's take you back to one of the velocity scans, which is where we're able to see the twisting and the turning of the winds. We'll take you through another scan here, and this is obviously a very evolving situation, so we want to give you the latest information as it comes in. Yet we're still seeing that tight area of red and green from Bridgeton through Fairton down into Cedarville, near Center Grove, just west of there. Millville is in the warning, but the area of rotation is just to the west of Millville, but you still can't let your guard down just yet. And some of you who are watching this, and I'll show you the big view on radar, might be thinking, okay, well, I'm not in the tornado warning, but I've got other storms going on where I live. And it's important to know and remember that severe thunderstorms can produce just as much damage as a tornado. So you might be in a severe thunderstorm warning, especially for those of you in South Jersey through Camden County, Gloucester County, and other portions of Salem County, where you're in a severe thunderstorm warning, but not in the tornado warning. And even though we're having continuous coverage due to the tornado warning, these severe thunderstorms can do just as much damage. And in fact, we're also noticing on the radar that there's a bit of a bow occurring with some of these storms through portions, and you see it pop up just there. Another tornado warning is now just been issued by the National Weather Service for a different portion of South Jersey. This tornado warning is in effect until 1:15. We'll pop it up on the screen here. And this tornado warning, the second one that's in effect until 1:15, is in effect for northwestern Atlantic County, the southern central portion of Camden County, into portions of Gloucester County too. So now we're not just tracking one tornado warning, we're tracking two tornado warnings. So for either of you in this area, you want to get to your safe place, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Don't try to go outside and take pictures. This tornado, if it is a tornado, is likely rain wrapped, so you're not going to see much of anything at all. And you don't even want to try to see anything. Just get to your safe place as best as you can. So let's zoom in on this warning and try to show you where the area of rotation is with this severe thunderstorm warning. We'll take you to the velocity scan here and show you where the most likely area of rotation is. And here we go on the radar. And you see it clear as day. This area of red, this area of green near Victory Lakes, we will circle it for you, near Berryland, near Broad Lane. This is the area where we could have a tornado. As mentioned, we're tracking 2 tornado warnings here. This tornado warning in effect until 1:15. Let's back up this view a bit and show you what also is happening with the storm. This system is moving to the southeast at 30 miles per hour. Yet again, another quick mover, so you don't have a lot of time to get to your safe place, but it's important to do that very quickly. So we'll track this potential tornado moving to the southeast at about 30 miles per hour. And here we have it, some of the town names that will pop up for you. So Berryland at approximately 12:48. It's 12:48 right now, so get to your safe place. Also Mullica, 106, Egg Harbor City, 111 if it holds together. You don't want to wait until these times to get to your safe place, but if the storm were to continue to move at the same speed in the same direction, then this is when they would be in your neighborhood. So as mentioned, we are tracking 2 tornado warnings, myself and meteorologist Bill Henley, 2 tornado warnings that are in effect for South Jersey, along with a ferocious line of severe thunderstorms that continue to roll through the I-95 corridor and South Jersey. That's the latest on that tornado warning. We'll go back to the other tornado warning in Cumberland County. This tornado warning that's in Cumberland County, also in effect for a small sliver of Cape May County and Atlantic County, remains in effect until 1:30. So the other one's in effect until 1:15. This one is in effect until 1:30. Let's go back to our scan of the winds to see the twisting and turning of the winds, and we still see that area of red and green banked up right next to each other from Fairton through Cedarville, near Center Grove, and you never want to see green and red close together on a wind image like this. That gives an indication of where a potential tornado is, and you just saw that updated scan. You still see the reds and the greens together. These systems really are not letting up just yet. I want to give you a street level view that way you can hear some roads and just something familiar for you if you're living in this area. New England Crossroads. Definitely want to get to your safe place. If you're hearing my voice there, we'll zoom in even more. Powell Elementary School. You know, if you're near there, you want to be in your safe place as well. Obviously, it's 12:49. Some people are out and about at work. Some people are at school, and it's important to listen to these updates. And maybe you're in a home where your TV is in a different area than the rest of where you would hide for your safe place. So it's important to either have your phone with you, and then you can listen to us on the NBC10 mobile app, or just crank the TV really loud and get to your safe place, and we'll let you know when you have the all clear, but you don't have the all clear just yet. So a couple of tornado warnings, that's what we're tracking. And a lot happening on this radar screen here, busy as we track these storms, but we want to give you every little piece of information. So 2 tornado warnings to give you the big view. This one to the north that pushes through Camden County, portions of Gloucester County. This one is in effect until 1:15, and the warning to the south that's in effect primarily for Cumberland County, but also for a small sliver of Cape May County and Atlantic County. That warning is in effect until 1:30 this afternoon. Obviously, the situations change and evolve, but it's important to keep a good track on all of this. I'm going to take some of these warnings off just to give you a better view of everything. And Bill, I know you've been tracking these storms as well, and as these storms have been sliding very quickly to the east, what have you been noticing?
I've been noticing that we have 2 tornado warnings, as you've mentioned.
Yeah.
The tornado that appears to be radar indicated into Cumberland County is moving much slower than the latest one that has just popped up, and that is portions of Gloucester and Camden County and into heading towards Atlantic County right now. This one appears to be moving closer at 40 miles an hour, and that's what the motion we've seen with many of these storms this morning. Look how quickly it's sweeping past Victory lakes right now and heading through those portions of Gloucester and Camden County, but it won't be long before it starts making its way into Atlantic County in New Jersey. So Victory Lakes, you're getting that heavy rainfall. It's likely the rain is just moving sideways in this area. If you're in the path of the storm, you don't have a lot of time, given that it is moving at about 40 miles an hour. You don't have a whole lot of time for you to be able to get to a safe place. Now, Rob mentioned the red and the green, and when they get close to each other, that is a problem. That's what we're seeing right now, moving through extreme southeastern Gloucester County and just to the south of Winslow. Winslow looks like it's passing just to your south, but it is a good idea to head for your safe place. Or there we go. Did we just get another tornado warning, or is that? No, it looks like that one has now been extended. Let's see. Let's back that out and see what we have here. It looks like that has just been reissued or possibly extended. Let's see if we can get the latest on the information on that tornado warning. It was in effect until 1:30 this afternoon. They have modified it now to 1:15. Part of because so it's less than half an hour now, but there's still lots of storm left in not only that one that is moving through Gloucester, Camden, and into Atlantic County, but for much of the rest of the area as well. And the storm also that is over Cumberland County. Let's get the latest there. We'll put that into motion, and I can pause it. And we'll see right now that heavy rainfall. So as Rob mentioned, if we have a tornado here, it is a radar indicated tornado, but there's so much rainfall. Looking out the window, you won't see it. And we really wouldn't encourage you to do that. You see so many people that video these storms as they're coming in. Don't even risk it. This is the time to get inside in the lowest level of the building, in an interior building, for portions of southeastern Gloucester County into Atlantic County. And we're still tracking that strong storm system, the potential tornado also in Cumberland County as well. Let's see if it looks like that one has just been modified as well. Let's get the latest on that storm system from the National Weather Service. That's until 1:30. So we've got one until 1:15 and 1:30. In addition to the tornado threat, the damaging wind threat, it's also bringing some very large hail. I have seen hail tracks larger in this area than we've seen for the rest of the area. If you look closely, the rain, the blue indicates an inch or less hail size, but we've seen some pockets where it's been even stronger or heavier or larger hail into South Jersey. It's approaching Center Grove right now, so this storm system that is not only producing the heavy rain and the hail, but there's still a possibility that we're looking at a tornado in this area in Cumberland County. And the other tornado that is still being tracked by their first alert weather team is right into South Jersey as well, just to the north of Cumberland County into Atlantic County. Now that one's moving pretty quickly, so it's not going to be long before it's out of the hair of residents and neighborhoods in Gloucester County and in Camden County, but it's right on into this area. Look at that heavy rainfall that is now moving through South Jersey. Collings Lake, you're in the thick of it right now. Piney Hollow too. I hope you can hear my voice, but you're not watching the TV unless it's an interior room on the lowest level of the building, because this is a serious storm system capable of not only producing damaging winds, but also producing quite a bit of damage as that tornado moves to the southeast. This is a fast-moving storm. I checked some of our live pictures, and I'll ask the control room to pop up Allentown if you can, because we saw these storms approaching Allentown first thing this morning before lunchtime. But right now, sunshine has broken out there, and those storm clouds are still over Philadelphia. We're starting to see the skies brighten up there as well. Those live pictures, though, will show the storms approaching the shore, and though we do not have a tornado warning for the shore, a severe thunderstorm warning has now been extended at the shore. There it is, a live view. You don't have to put it in the monitor here. You can just take it full screen, but that does the job. We got sunshine, some blue sky. Things are settling down in the Lehigh Valley, but it's the opposite for Atlantic City. Cape May, too. You can pop up that Cape May camera or the Atlantic City camera, and you'll see some rain on the boardwalk this morning, but the heavy weather is still on the way. But as Rob and I have been talking about, the worst of it is coming through with these tornado warnings that are in South Jersey. The slow-moving tornado radar indicated still over Cumberland County, and it is rain-wrapped. There you can see the shore. That's Atlantic City, which is showing some light rain, but don't go out for a walk right now. I see a few people on the boardwalk. This is really not the time to leave the house if you're in the path of these storm systems, because this is going to produce not only the potential for damaging wind, but blinding rain. So roads are going to be very difficult to drive through just because you won't be able to see. And there's also the potential for some flooding as well. We've seen not only the strong winds and the frequent lightning, but also the potential for some downpours leading to roadway flooding at the very minimum, and possibly some flash flooding as these storms move through. Now, most of them are moving fairly quickly, like this one that is in South Jersey moving into, oh, there we go. There is the couplet that Rob has been talking about. This is where the red meets the green. It's in this area that we're seeing the potential rotation. That's a radar indicated. So if you are in the path of this storm system, which is now moving at close to 40 miles an hour, let's see if I can get you a view of how quickly this is moving through the area. This is the path. So we've got the Carmentown at 118. So that's still 20 minutes away. That seems like it's a little bit slow. I think it's going to be moving a little bit faster than that. But you have to look out the window. You can watch us and listen to us. We do encourage you to turn up the volume if you're heading into that interior space to stay away from these storms. Take advantage of the audio that we're talking. We'll tell you when those storms have been modified, when the warnings get lifted for these areas. But for right now, we still have those strong storms that are moving through South Jersey, and 2 tornado warnings, one in Cumberland County. That tornado warning is in effect until 1:30 this afternoon and until 1:15 in now looks like quickly moving into Atlantic County towards Mullica. You can see lots of lightning, and you're probably seeing it out the window as well. You'll hear the thunder coming, and that in itself is a warning to stay inside. But even more so when you have a tornado warning like this. Rob, what else are you spotting over there, and what's the National Weather Service saying? What's the latest from them?
Yeah, certainly a busy scene out there on our radar. So if you're just tuning in, we're approaching the 1 o'clock hour. Meteorologist Robert Johnson here with meteorologist Bill Henley as we track a ferocious line of storms that are very quickly racing to the southeast. And of course, it's a very busy radar scene behind me. We're going to walk you through it all. Loads of lightning, downpours, and gusty winds with 2 tornado warnings that are in effect. So we'll walk you through each one. And of course, we'll get you to the street level view as well. So the first tornado warning, the one to the north, the one that Bill was just showing you a bit ago with the really tight couplet, the turning and turning of the winds. That warning is in effect until 1:15 for portions of Atlantic County, Camden County, into Gloucester County. We'll clear that scene and show you the other tornado warning. That's also in effect. That tornado warning, the one to the south, is in effect until 1:30, also for a portion of Atlantic County, but especially so for Cumberland County and even into a small sliver of Cape May County too. And honestly, to add insult to injury, a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect down the shore. So even though tornadoes get a lot of the headlines, it's not the only thing we want to talk about, but it is one of the things we want to talk about. There you see the really strong storms pushing through Winslow Township, Collings Lakes, Buena Vista. We'll slide even closer and show you the view of the winds, where we can see the twisting and the turning of the winds, and show you where the most likely area of rotation is. So we'll take you to that view. Here we are, and there you see the red and the green close together. Let's give you a closer view as we try to get some more roads in here. And then we'll show you 322 St. Augustine Preparatory School. If you're around that region, you definitely want to be in your safe place. We'll slide in a little closer and show you a couple more areas where we see the Atlantic City Expressway. So if you're hearing my voice in that region, you definitely want to be in your safe place. But notice where you see the bright areas of red, the bright areas of green, really close together. That's the most likely area of rotation. Then we'll back out this view and show you the other tornado warning that is just to the south. and that warning remains in effect until 1:30. And you still see that little bit of a notch that Bill and I have been talking about, and that's not something you want to see on the radar screen, because that is where we could have an area of rotation. And we'll show you the wind view where we see the twisting and the turning of the wind, and we're still seeing that, unfortunately. So you want to be in your safe place. South of Millville, east of Cedarville, near Laurel Lake. We'll zoom in even tighter, try to get some roads in on here. It's just to the east of Bridgeton, near Baileytown, Center Grove, near 47. So if you're hearing me in that portion of the region, you definitely want to be in your safe place, putting as many walls between you and the outside as possible as we try to get even more roads here on this map. But this is the primary area of concern. Something we want to do as we zoom in and out of these maps, these storms can twist direction and they can change speed. They're not always going in the same place as they once were when we first had this tornado warning issued at about 12:22, and here we are at 1:02 in the afternoon. So to give you an update from the National Weather Service on this storm is still moving southeast at about 30 miles per hour. You saw another update come in just there. So we'll put another track on this as it pushes through Cumberland County and continues to slide very quickly to the southeast, potentially hitting portions of Cape May County and Atlantic County too. So let's put a track on this so that way we can get some more towns on here and see where it could be hitting your town. And as mentioned, it's moving to the southeast at approximately 30 miles per hour. And here we are. So right now it's 102, almost 103. It's near Bricksboro at approximately 108. Dennis at approximately 124 if this continues to hold together. But it's sliding in this direction, moving through Cumberland County, making its way into Cape May County and potentially into Atlantic County too. So we don't want to let our guard down. That's the southernmost tornado warning. We'll have this same radar view pan to the north and show you that we're still seeing some really strong storms. And some people wonder, okay, it's a tornado warning, but is there actually a tornado? Sometimes we know in the moment. Right now we don't know, but either way, these winds are really strong. They're ferocious, and as mentioned, strong straight line winds can do just as much damage as a tornado, so we don't want to let our guard down. We'll back up this view and show you that with this tornado warning, we get an update from the National Weather Service here. This one is moving also to the southeast at 30 miles per hour. So we'll back up this view and put a couple more towns on here as we track this tornado warning. And here's that track for you as it tracks to the southeast at approximately 30 miles per hour. So a couple more town names here for you. So Cloverleaf Lakes, approximately 1:15. This warning is in effect until 1:15, but still just to give you an idea of where these storms are headed. Egg Harbor at approximately 1:24. Again, the warning is in effect until 1:15, but we just want to show you what could be happening there. I just see this pop up just now, a new box. This is a modified tornado warning. So what the National Weather Service is doing here, they're keeping the tornado warning going, but since the storm moves to the east and southeast, they need to update the warning box, and that's why you see these two boxes here. So that is why we get these modifications. And sometimes when we get modifications from the National Weather Service, they're also going to give us little notes, little updates that help us track this system, especially if it has changed speed or it has changed direction. The latest information from the National Weather Service is that this storm is still moving to the southeast at 30 miles per hour. So it's still moving in that same direction. The warning is still in place for this tornado warning until 1:15, and it remains in place for northwestern Atlantic County as it quickly slides to the east at 30 miles per hour. So if you're in that region, you definitely want to take shelter. And as we've been mentioning, Bill and I have been mentioning that we have seen several areas of hail, and we'll widen this view. We've seen some hail in Chester County, in Delco. We've seen pockets of hail with both of these tornado warned cells. So we'll show that to you here as we pop back up the tornado warning outline. So the red areas, those are the tornado warnings, and we've been tracking two cells primarily. One that was pushing out of Newcastle County, crossing the Delaware Bay through Salem County into Cumberland County, and that has produced at least looks like some quarter-sized hail is possible. In addition, we've been tracking the other system that also had a tornado warning. Now that tornado warning is only in effect for Atlantic County until 1:15, so another 10 minutes or so, and that has also produced some small hail. So we've got the downpour contours. We've got the twisting and the turning of the winds, potentially spawning a tornado. We've got some strong straight line winds, and yes, we've got some hail to go along with it. So this has been a very potent system as we've been tracking not just one, but 2 tornado warnings, Bill. And I know you've been tracking things as well on your end too. It's a very quickly evolving situation.
It is, and these both have been modified. And we see this as storms progress as quickly as they're moving. We've seen this storm system that started off in portions of Salem County. Now it is central and southern Cumberland County, and that's still indicating a tornado in South Jersey. But the other one is now in Atlantic County. This started in Gloucester and Camden counties, and this storm system is on the move. Some of these cells are moving at close to 40 or just above 40 miles an hour. So this one is quickly moving through portions of western Atlantic County. Now, if you've been in this area, you know how strong this storm is. And on the phone right now is Siobhan McGurl, who is in Gloucester County, in the Gloucester City area, Gloucester Township, and you experience these storms as they move through, Siobhan. So what was that like?
That's right, Bill. Hello. I was driving from Hamilton. We were up at the train station, took 295 all the way down. And earlier you were talking about that blinding rain when you're driving. That's how it was, the kind of drive on the highway on 295 where you just put the hazards on and take it really slow. At one point, I wasn't sure. I thought that I could have felt hail on the dashboard, but just very strong rain. The wipers were going like crazy. It obviously slow going on 295 when that was happening. I got off the highway. My GPS actually rerouted me to take some of the back roads, and when I got to those back roads, the water came up high over one of the roads, a low-lying area in Camden County. I think I was in Voorhees area, and I got back on the highway because of all of the water on the roads, in the back roads. I did see some people driving through, so just another important reminder, if you see any roads like that, it's the turnaround, don't drown. I'll also tell you, Bill, I heard you mention Gloucester County. My mom is in Washington Township, and she reached out to me and said, pull over right now. It is not safe. I don't want you in the roads right now. So she was experiencing that storm that you were talking about going through Gloucester County. But right now I'm sitting in, if anyone's familiar with the area, right off 42 by the outlets in Camden County and Gloucester Township, pulled over, and I'm actually looking at some sun peeking through the clouds. So we seem to be in a better position, Bill.
That is how quickly things are moving. And Mom has great advice for you. And it's something Rob and I have been talking about with these fast moving storms. If you're ahead of these storm systems, if you're in Corbin City, even though we don't have a tornado warning here, we have a tornado warning in Cumberland County and in Atlantic County. And the severe thunderstorm warning extends into Atlantic County past the shore. So, Siobhan, what you experienced and went through, that heavy rainfall, that's in the future for all of these communities. Now, you mentioned the hail, and not only can we see the heavy rain and track the lightning, but check out these hail tracks. You can see the hail that with this first storm system that looks like it's producing a tornado, a radar indicated tornado in Cumberland County. It started in Salem County, and that's significant hail. Some of this hail, anything in this blue, that's an inch or less, but you can see a pocket here and there which is showing 1 inch plus hail. So that's some pretty good size hail for our area. And that's not the only spot. If we look to the north, you mentioned you're probably just north of Glassboro, near Washington. That's hail that moved through. So maybe even if you didn't get a good look at it, you might have been on the edge of that hail. But that also is an indicator of just how strong the storm is. A strong thunderstorm can produce hail as well as a tornado at the same time. And we can't lose focus of the main reason we're still on the air with the extended coverage. It's these 2 areas that are shaded in red. Those are tornado warnings. This tornado warning has been modified. It was in Gloucester and into Camden County, and now it's primarily over Atlantic County until 1:15. So we got 4 minutes plus left on this tornado warning. And let's take a look at the velocity, because this is the product that helps us pinpoint where we might have a tornado. And it is with echoes like we're seeing in the Weymouth area right now. And that storm system is on the move. So if you're in this area towards Mays Landing, if you're any towards Egg Harbor City, this is the time to have a plan if you haven't developed one already, to get into a safe place. And again, the best place to be when you have a tornado is in the lowest level of the building. If you've got a basement, that's the place to be. If not a basement, then the lowest level of the building, whether it's a house or an office building or an apartment building, you want to be in an interior room. It's exciting to see a storm like this, and you see many people taking the risk, the threat of making a video or capturing a picture or just a glance of a tornado. It's not that common that we see them, but don't even risk it. If you're in the path of these storms, you see the motion of this storm that's producing a tornado, a radar-indicated tornado in Atlantic County and in Cumberland County, and heading towards portions of Cape May and southwestern Atlantic County as well. These storms are on the move, and they are heading your way. In addition to that heavy rainfall, Siobhan mentioned her mom calling her, and yes, that heavy rain, that drenching rain, is now pushing out of that warning area for the tornado, but it's still under that severe thunderstorm warning. And a severe thunderstorm warning means not only the potential for some heavy rainfall, but let me pull it up. It is the potential for damaging wind and rain, too. And now the National Weather Service is saying this severe thunderstorm warning that extends past the shore is in effect until 1:45 this afternoon. The hail size is just under an inch, but look at those winds. That's stronger than what we saw from these storms as they move through southeastern Pennsylvania and northern Delaware as well. A tornado is possible indeed. So even though these neighborhoods are only seeing, let me hit the eraser there and get rid of that, even though these neighborhoods just outside of that tornado warning are not right now in a tornado warning, there is a potential for a tornado as that storm system is quickly moving through portions of Atlantic County towards Mullica. It's really coming down right now. And Galloway, don't waste any time. Even though it's showing some lighter rain, that storm system is on the way to you. You don't want to wait until it's right on top of you to take shelter. So now is the time to act with this storm system. I'm seeing maybe a little bit of a notch there, Robert, and that's moving to the southeast. So that brings it into Egg Harbor City at 1:18. Now, this tornado warning is set to expire at 1:15. We'll see if the National Weather Service is still looking at some rotation, which would prompt them to extend that warning. But while that warning is expected to expire in just a few minutes, the warning that is in Cumberland County, that is going to continue into the 1:30 time frame, and that will take this storm system with the potential for damaging winds. I'm still looking at a little rotation there. I'm sorry if I moved that too quickly for you. Let me put that into hold. There's the notch, Robert, and gosh, it looks like, you know what?
Yeah.
Stand by. This is at 12:40. Let me fast forward to get it to play at the end. And there we go. There was a better view. That was where the notch was. Yeah. But now you can see how quickly it is moving. And it's in the Morris River between Laurel Lake and Morris River. It's right in this area that I'm seeing the potential rotation. So by my eye, Robert, it looks like we still have rotation and a potential tornado that is coming through South Jersey in Cumberland County. And that's just one of the spots we're watching for tornado activity right now.
Yeah, absolutely right, Bill. And I know for all of you watching out there, it's a very quickly evolving situation. So something that I did on my map here, took off the lightning, took off the radar. I just want to show you the warning boxes. So the yellow box, that's a severe thunderstorm warning that stretches through down the Jersey Shore, through Atlantic City, almost down into Sea Isle City. The two red boxes, those are tornado warnings. And we had warnings in effect for Salem County. No longer a tornado warning in effect for Salem County. No longer a tornado warning in effect for Cumberland County and Gloucester County. We have two warnings that are in effect. One, the one to the north, is in effect for northwestern Atlantic County until 1:15. Right now it's 1:14, so we'll see if the National Weather Service decides to keep that. We should be getting an update from them very soon on that. And in addition, we're also tracking this other tornado warning that's in effect for Cumberland County, extending into southwestern Atlantic County, northwestern Cape May County, and this warning is in effect until 1:30. So we'll continue to track this warning to the north as well. It's 1:15, and we'll see if the National Weather Service has an update on that one. If you see anything, Bill, please let me let me know on that warning to the.
Like they've let it expire, Rob.
All right, I don't know if you guys heard Bill, but Bill told me, he confirmed that this tornado warning in northwestern Atlantic County, which was scheduled to expire at 1:15, has indeed expired. It'll take a minute or two for it to pull away from our system, but that's been allowed to expire. Now we just have a tornado warning in effect for Cumberland County and portions of northwestern Cape May County and southwestern Atlantic County. And here's the view down the shore where you see these downpours. You see the really dark clouds, the rain that's about ready to pour down. So you don't want to wait until the rain starts coming and you can't really see anything in front of you. You just want to get to your safe place right now. If we can, let's go back to the radar view and focus on that tornado warning that's in effect for portions of Cumberland County and into parts of Cape May County and southwestern Atlantic County. As of now, this is the only tornado warning that we have in place. So you see the loads of lightning, the heavy rain, it's all pouring down very quickly and moving quickly from Laurel Lake all the way down almost into Cape May County near Corbin City. And a few other locations as well that we'll put on the map for you just to the east of Center Grove. So we'll put on the velocity scan where we see the twisting and the turning of the winds. And this is still something that we need to continue to watch and monitor. So something that I'm noticing here, Bill, is we're not seeing the green and red as close together as it once was, but it still is an issue and we still don't want to let our guard down. So this region remains in a tornado warning until 1:30, so for about the next 14 minutes or so. And we still get updates occasionally from the National Weather Service, and this storm is still moving to the southeast at approximately 30 miles per hour. Let's do another track on this. You might have seen a track earlier, but of course these things do change, and we want to give you the best information possible associated with these storms.
At some point, we do expect to see it wind down, Rob, so that's
Yes.
not surprising that we see
Yeah.
less of that red and green, and that's a good thing. And we want to see more or less of the red and green together, and we want to see less of this, too. The hail tracks, which were so prominent as this storm moved through Salem and western Cumberland County, have really they started dying out, and this is actually also a good sign. As those hail tracks start to die out, that's also a sign that this storm system may be weakening a bit. It's still a powerful storm. If I put the radar back up, there is a potential that we're still looking at a tornado, a radar indicated tornado, but it's looking a lot less clear right now. So this one is in the waning minutes. This warning will expire at 1:30 unless it's canceled ahead of time based on the latest radar. But we're still dealing with that heavy rainfall, and even though the tornado warning is limited to western Cape May and southwestern Atlantic County, the severe thunderstorm warning extends past Sea Isle City, just north of Sea Isle City, Atlantic City, and into southern Burlington County. Look at that heavy rainfall and quite a bit of lightning as well. And that hail that was so prominent in Stowe Creek, when you see those spots, that is hail that is greater than 1 inch in diameter. So you get hail, you get the damaging winds that come with the tornado, and you get the wind shear, which is also an indication of how strong a storm system is, a good indicator of where the severe weather is. And you can see that line of shear. You think of wind going all in the same direction. The wind's coming out of the northwest, coming out of the southwest. But when it comes to shear is important because the wind changes direction and speed with altitude. And that's what can create the spinning of a tornado in those clouds. And we're seeing it prominently in those two areas. Now, we're still keeping an eye on our live pictures. We have that technology, a great view from our camera high atop the Hard Rock in Atlantic City. It shows those darkening skies. Well, this is why. It's because these storms are on the move. The wind shear tracks do look impressive, but so does the radar, and that really hasn't changed since first thing this morning. It sometimes gets difficult to see it with the lightning embedded in there, so we take that off. And look at the correlation coefficient. This can also indicate where a tornado is, but I don't see any clear indication there. The rainfall totals, those have been quite impressive as this storm system has moved through the area and is still coming down. Let's see if we can get a total here and there. We talked to Siobhan McGurl on the phone who experienced those storms coming through. Well, a flash flood warning is in effect for Camden and Gloucester for the considerable threat for flash flooding with these storms moving through. Even though the rain has eased out, there is still a possibility of flooding occurring there. And all of these indicators, that's indicating storm damage. We're already starting to see the reports coming in. Numerous flood reports from the Pennsylvania suburbs into the Philadelphia area and into Camden County in New Jersey, and tree damage being reported. This is just one of the reports coming down. Trees along Canes Mill Road. Estimated time of those trees coming down was 10 minutes before 1 o'clock. So half an hour ago, the thunderstorm wind damage, and that may be the least of the thunderstorm wind damage, Rob, if it turns out that these radar indicated tornadoes are indeed tornadoes. We will likely see damage on the ground, especially likely in Cumberland County, as we have an ongoing tornado threat there.
You know, Bill, we think very similarly, because I was getting ready to talk about storm reports as well. And this is one in Hopewell Township. This was reported at approximately 12:36. Thunderstorm wind damage, a report of a heavily damaged shed around the Bridgeton area. And the description says a possible tornado. So this is from the cell that moved through Salem County. It moved through the western portion of Cumberland County. There's still that tornado warning that's in effect until 1:30, another 9 minutes or so for Cumberland County into portions of Atlantic and Cape May counties. But we do have a report of thunderstorm wind damage. Was that rotating winds? Was it straight line winds? We don't know just yet, but we do know, in fact, that there was damage. And I'm sure the National Weather Service will survey that area and give us more information about that. Let's go to our regular radar view, because as mentioned, tornadoes get a lot of the attention. But something I want to show you on this radar view, as you see all the lightning strikes popping, and there are a ton of lightning strikes. So if you want to take a view of this, we've had a ton of lightning strikes over the past 15 minutes, about 40 in this area, and we saw even more lightning strikes north and west as these storms were moving over the I-95 corridor. And now you see an update there, 41 lightning strikes, 42 lightning strikes. So these are still intense storms. And even if we're not talking about rotating winds anymore, and this tornado warning is still in effect for Cumberland County, portions of Cape May County and Atlantic County, but even when we're not talking about rotating winds, we're still talking about straight line winds. And we see this bow occurring as these storms have been moving very quickly south and east. As mentioned, straight line winds can cause just as much damage as rotating winds. The rushing of the wind all pushing into one direction, which can knock over trees. It can knock over power lines. That can lead to power outages. And as we like to say, when thunder roars, go indoors. We've also been talking about areas of hail that have popped up. That's been a big concern here too, especially through Salem County and Cumberland County. That's been a big concern. Something we want to take you to is this tool called the correlation coefficient. It's just a fancy term for debris, where we could see some areas of debris. Thankfully, we're not seeing a really tight area of debris. I know this is not a view that we typically show you on television, but it is something that we need and something that's crucial for tracking severe storms. Still, we're watching that tornado warning that's in effect until 1:30 for Cumberland County, Atlantic County, and portions of Cape May County. Let's take you back to the wind image to show you where the winds may be moving. And we're not noticing nearly as much of the tight couplet that we were talking about before, the green and the red really close together. What I want to do to give you just a comparison is to back up this view, back up the radar over the past, let's say, half hour. It kind of drops off a bit there, but you see that the green and red was closer together just to the south of Laurel Lake. This was at approximately, let's see here, at approximately 12:50, and then we track this into our current time frame, and you don't see the green and red as close together. That's some good news. That's not something we want to see. We don't want to see the twisting and turning of the winds. But as mentioned, even if we're not seeing rotating winds, we're still seeing strong winds push in one direction. It's still a very dangerous situation, even for those of you that are not in the tornado warning. Bill, I hear you have an update as well.
Yeah, we do. Not only are we seeing that heavy rainfall and storm activity moving through South Jersey, but this is part of the same activity that moved through this morning to the north and west. The first to see it were Lehigh Valley, Berks County, and we're now getting some damage reports and some pictures too in Exeter Township near Reading this morning. Look at the tree down on this house, and we have word that 2 people have been taken taken to the hospital of the result of this damaging wind that has moved through. That's a big tree, and it took a direct hit that house. A woman and child have been brought to the hospital. We don't know their condition. We hope they're going to be okay, but there is obviously going to be more pictures like this through the area. Now, this is the radar view of those storms as it raced through this morning into Berks County. It didn't last long, but you don't need it to last long to produce that heavy rainfall and also the damaging wind. We didn't have any reports of tornadoes. These are likely straight line winds that move through the Lehigh Valley in Berks County, and that's what we saw for most of Pennsylvania and Delaware too. It wasn't until these storms reached into New Jersey that we started to see some rotation. I'm not seeing much of that right now on the radar, though. The radar is showing that the heavy rain is now pushing past the eastern edge of this tornado warning, which is set to expire in less than five minutes.
And there's still an update for you here. Sorry to interrupt you.
Go
we
ahead.
just got an update from the National Weather Service that they are expiring the tornado warning in Cumberland County, Atlantic County, and Cape May County. So even though it'll take a second or two for it to clear from our system, there is no longer a tornado warning in effect for any one of us in our neighborhoods, but especially that warning for Cumberland, Atlantic, and Cape May counties. But still, as we see behind you, Bill, there are some strong storms moving through South Jersey, sliding down the Jersey Shore. And as mentioned, that's the tornado warning that will be removed from our system very shortly. And as we take you back to the regular radar view, we can show you these are strong storms that are quickly pressing toward Atlantic City and Sea Isle City. There's a severe thunderstorm warning in effect just north of Sea Isle City through Ocean City as these storms, which are bowing out. So a strong rushing of the wind pressing into one direction, quickly moving to the east with wind gusts that are possible up to 60 to even 70 miles per hour. But as mentioned from the National Weather Service, though we still have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect, we no longer have a tornado warning in effect. And before we take you back to other programming, Bill, I know you've been tracking this as well. And even in that severe thunderstorm warning, we're still seeing some strong wind speeds up to 70 miles per hour on your
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of the damage that we've seen, Rob, has happened not with a tornado, but with these storms as they're moving through. So even though the tornado warning is set to expire or being expired, it looks like they're going to let it expire at 1:30. The severe thunderstorm warning is still in effect. And as you mentioned earlier, Rob, a severe thunderstorm can produce damage that is similar to a tornado. A weak tornado and a strong thunderstorm, you may wind up with the same kind of damage. So even though we don't expect to see a tornado, it's going to be expiring. Let me see, there we get that off the screen. We still have these bands of some heavy rain, which are coming with some very strong winds. Those 70-mile-an-hour winds, that's stronger than what the radar indicated as they moved through Berks County, where we saw that damage. And there are numerous damage reports. In addition, we have some heavy rainfall as well. So even though that tornado warning, thankfully, is set to expire, we still have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. And it looks like one has just been extended now and posted for more of Cape May County. This severe thunderstorm warning, if I'm not mistaken, has just been posted. And let's take a look. And now includes Avalon. So it's pushing farther to the south. Severe thunderstorm warning until 2:15 this afternoon. So even though the tornado threat appears for now to be diminishing, I'm still seeing some questionable echoes there in southern Cumberland County, Rob. I don't know if you're seeing that as well. Something to keep an eye on. Even though a tornado may not be radar indicated right now, the potential for some more spin in the atmosphere is not out of the question. Sometimes one tornado can die out and another can pop up. Now, we're not seeing a lot of indicated strikes of lightning, but there is some lightning in the area, so the lightning is starting to settle down. Let's take a look at the hail, because that's another indicator of just how strong that storm system is. We've seen two nice tracks of hail as it's moved through, and I don't see any hail showing up on this radar right now into southern Cumberland County and Cape May. But Rob, obviously there's more severe weather ongoing, and we do have a first alert in effect until 4 o'clock this afternoon. And look at that. This camera just a short time ago was showing us some light rain. We saw people on the boardwalk.
Yeah, this is our Hard Rock camera at Atlantic City, though you couldn't tell it just by looking at the screen here. And this is what we mean when we say even though there's no longer a tornado warning that's in effect, we still have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings, and those can can still cause damage. So we're going to stay with you just to walk you through all of this and make sure that you are safe. But if you're in Atlantic City, areas to the south, through Ocean City, through Sea Isle, into Avalon, you definitely want to stay inside, wait until it all passes. Sometimes people might think, well, there's no tornado warning. It's just a severe thunderstorm warning, but it's never just a severe thunderstorm warning, especially with these storms that are producing winds gusting 60, even up to 70 miles per hour. Still some heavy downpours that continue to push through South Jersey and down the Jersey Shore. Even though I know there's not a tornado warning no longer in effect, we still want to look at the velocity image, the wind image, just to see if there are other areas of rotation that may pop up. Sometimes that can be helpful to view even when there's not a tornado warning. Not seeing a ton of rotation here, little bits here and there, but nothing really strong at this point. But if that were to change, of course, we would let you know. But these storms very quickly sliding to the southeast, and we'll continue to watch this as the system develops. Let's take you back to some of the storm reports, and we have seen plenty of them over the past hour or two. And we've been with you right here on NBC 10 tracking these storms since 12:22. We were just going to give you a regular update about these storms, but then a tornado warning was issued, so we wanted to stay with you and give you the coverage of both tornado warnings that were issued and now with this severe thunderstorm warning, multiple severe thunderstorm warnings. So here are some storm reports that we will pop up, and we'll widen the view to show you a couple of reports. And some of these reports happen just about an hour or so ago, especially near Atlantic County line of Cumberland County and Gloucester County. We'll pop up a couple of these reports to show you here. This report that Bill showed you of thunderstorm wind damage, that was reported at about 12:50. Bill showed you that earlier. And then another report just next to it of thunderstorm wind damage of trees and wires down along Route 54 near Hamilton, and that report was issued at about 12:52. So we have thunderstorm damage reports. In addition, we have multiple flash flood warnings that have been issued up and down the I-95 corridor. Those extend from Trenton through Philadelphia off into Wilmington. It includes Cherry Hill and Camden, also includes portions of Bucks County, Montgomery County, through Willow Grove, all the way down into Delco, and extending into Westchester in Chester County as these strong storms continue to push south and east. And then here are these strong storms that continue to slide very quickly through the southeast that are producing wind gusts anywhere from 60 to 70 miles per hour, and we'll continue to provide updates throughout the afternoon. Tracy, we'll send it back over to you.
Robert, you and Bill have been monitoring what's happening in Salem County. NBC 10's Tim Furlong is live there showing us what the conditions are right now. Tim?
Yeah, Tracy, it's weird. That's the best way I could sum it up. I was in Delaware for most of the morning, and we never really, in Wilmington, where I was at least, I never saw any like heavy downpours or anything like that. No hail, didn't see that. Just pockets of like, a little bit of heavy rain, but nothing too crazy. But then we saw that it looked just south of us like something was going through, and that's what Robert and Bill were talking about, going across the river south of the Delaware Memorial Bridge into Salem County and things like that. So we started chasing that line of storms, and you can see we're on Route 40 East here. Coming up in a little while, we just passed through Upper Pittsgrove, if you know the area. We're heading toward Elmer at this point in northern Salem County, and you can see it's kind of weird. The sun is out, but we have a little bit of rain falling. I'm sure we're going to see a rainbow. Lots of wispy clouds, thicker clouds you can see up to the north, but white clouds, and it just looks like everything is just waterlogged. You can probably see on the side of the road there's like puddling on the side of the road and ponding and things like that, but nothing we haven't seen. We saw maybe one tree branch that looked like it had come down, but we saw like an outdoor produce stand here and there that looked okay. Nothing really major, but we are seeing reports. Our assignment desk is sending me reports about shed damage here and there and things like that, but luckily not any sort of widespread damage that we've seen so far, or reports of a tornado literally tearing across. And as you know, like in Delaware, South Jersey, we've seen over the last few years more and more tornadoes that literally destroy neighborhoods. So that's the worst case scenario. We have not seen that at this point, but we're going to keep cruising around, check out some of these addresses that we've heard about some damage, and we'll get back to you. But again, that's the story as we head into Elmer, New Jersey on Route 40 in northern Salem County. Sunny skies, still raining. It looks like the line of the worst of it is off to the east. Back to you.
Thanks for the update, Tim. Appreciate that. We want to show you some damage. We are getting pictures and video of damage across the area coming into our NBC10 newsroom. And this is a picture from Exeter Township, Berks County. A tree uprooted and into a home. There were 2 children and a mom inside the home when the tree went down. One child and the woman were taken to the hospital, non-life-threatening injuries. So that's the good news. But the fire department says take a look at that with the entire tree uprooted and into a home. And then we just got more video. Again, we continue to get more video and pictures in from our viewers. This is Broad Street in Quakertown just a little while ago. And we've been telling people, please don't drive through deep water like this. You really don't know if you're going to make it through. Turn around, don't drown. That's what we always say. Be very, very careful. I'm sure that this scene is playing out around the area because the rain came down at such a heavy rate at points that the drainage just can't keep up with it. Now is a really good time as our meteorologists continue to follow the severe weather that is moving through our area. Now is a really good time to download our free NBC10 app so you can track these storms in real time and get updates that are very specific for your neighborhood. We'll be back again with updates throughout the afternoon, our next one at 2 o'clock. We'll see you then.